Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. I, of course, am Hammer, founder of Originator, Success, Grab and Go Social, and Rate Sensei. Go check those out. They're great products. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. This morning, coming to you from Mexico. Last day, traveling home, travel day today. So wish me luck. Hopefully no drama in the airports or anything like that. So glad to have you all joining me. If you're here this morning, say good morning. If you're here watching on a replay, don't forget, just give me a hashtag replay in the comments before you fast forward to the good stuff. Remember, if you'd like to join me live and you want a reminder, you can sign up for our text reminder that I'm going live each morning. It's hmmr.io/reminder. You can also use this cool QR code. There it is over there. And get a reminder that I am going live. So everyone who's here this morning, say good morning. You can also sign up for our written lock advice, www.ratelockadvice.com. Get an email to your inbox each and every weekday morning. Also, don't forget, you can sign up for our text alerts. Doesn't cost you a lot of money. If you don't want to watch candlesticks all day, you can just get alerts and be notified what's going on in the market. HMMR. Well, actually, that one's just a straight ratetextalerts.com. So go check it out for sure and for shizzle. Let me flip back over to the iPhone camera. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. Let's go ahead and say good morning to all of my friends here this morning. There you go. Just get a nice view of what we're dealing with this morning. Good morning, Yasmin Martin, Megan Bissell, Paul George. Great to have you here. Rob Stewart, good to see you, my friend. So anyone else here this morning, say good morning. Good morning, Angela Walters. Buenos dias, Tom Stafford. Great to have you here, my friend. So I wonder if I could do two cameras. Do they do side-by-side cameras? I wonder if I could do two cameras. Hold on. I'm looking to see if... No, it doesn't look like I can. So, but anyway. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's go back to the captions. Good morning, Tom Deadmore, Allison Foy. Yeah, I've got you all set up with the iPhone camera so that you can get a nice, easy view while we're getting started. So, all right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me walk you through what we've got going on this morning and all the good stuff here. Let's see, captions. We'll do a quick recap. Take a look at the technicals with me. Take a look and recap what happened yesterday. Pop that over here. So got that. Yep, there it is. All right, cool. So taking a look with what we got going on. Quick recap of what happened yesterday. You can see that's everything right here. We're going to zoom in on that for a minute. All right, let's take a look and see. Pricing came out yesterday. It was right here around 10 a.m. That puts us kind of at the higher point of the day. We did lose a little bit of ground after that. There was no reprices, though. It was not enough of a move to get worried about. Bonds did recover. This is kind of the normal movement that we see during the day. There's really just not a lot of volatility. Things are actually pretty stable. So pricing came out yesterday right around 99.80-ish. This morning, we were down a little bit. Now we've popped back up a hair. Currently 99.77, down about 6 basis points, but still very much in line, very close to where we were yesterday as pricing was coming out. So hopefully you should see rate sheets today that are very similar to yesterday. Shouldn't be much of a move at all. Unfortunately, those rate sheets are not the best rate sheets that we've seen. Kind of went back to where we were. Now, by the way, I know I'm going to create some hate on this one, but I'm going to pull it up anyway. Let me swap to the MacBook camera here. I'm going to say this anyway. When you try to manipulate with rates, they're still manipulating rates. Mortgage rates are a little bit better than they would be based on where the 10-year Treasury is because spreads have shrunk after Trump announced the GSE purchases of mortgage-backed securities. Now, the GSEs had already been buying mortgage-backed securities, but the initial bump that we saw rates improve about a quarter point. That's all gone. That's gone. So, these are like, I think I think they'll one day realize, like, you can't just be like rates are going to be lower and boom, they're lower. It takes a lot more than that. And so now where we're going into is we're going into a new season with a new Fed. If Kevin Warsh is confirmed to go into the Fed, and they're talking about the Fed cutting rates. Markets not yet pricing that in, though. Markets are still pricing in 2 cuts second half of the year. I'll show you those screens real quick, and we'll kind of go over that. But anyway, it's something to remember that it's very hard to manipulate mortgage rates. And right now, when you look 6.20, that puts us right back where we were, just a couple weeks ago. And that was right after, remember, here was the first bump. Then they moved back up. Then they crept back down. Then they crept back up. I mean, we have not seen rates move. This is more stable than consumers are really understanding. When we look back at where rates have been over the last couple of years, let's turn these other ones off. Let's shrink this down to just the last couple of years here. I mean, take a look. We had rates, January of 25, rates were up at the 7s. And now they're all the way down, to the low 6s. That's a beautiful, beautiful move. A lot of people, even though that's only a point in rate, that's opening up the doors for a lot of people to refinance, or a lot of people to, to buy a home. So right now, it's unlikely that anytime soon that we see rates that are going to move much lower than this. Let me go ahead and turn off the recap one. We talked about rate sheets today and reprice risk. Reprice risk on the day is low. It's not likely that we have anything to worry about with reprice risk today. Things are low. Shouldn't be calm. Now, as far as the calendar goes, yesterday I got caught off guard. I missed on Monday afternoon when the BLS said they weren't going to release data. And I got to tell you, that was a bit of a cop-out. I mean, come on. They should be back at work today. They were gone for 2 days. Like, really? Come on. But I don't see anything yet on when the jobs data is going to come out. Today would have been JOLTS data, job opening labor turnover survey, but we don't have that. So we will see. We will see. So, it is what it is. But let me go back to the screens here. I'll show you a couple of different things. Taking a look here, looking at the main headlines and everything here, jobs data delayed, analysts flock to unofficial data. And that's just kind of the same thing what we always hear, right? The Bureau of Labor Statistics said the January jobs report wouldn't be released as scheduled Friday. So we already know that. But so when is it going to come out? Next week is once again turning to unofficial data as another federal spending impasse has suspended government figures. But it's already, Trump signed it back into law yesterday. So it has been passed. What they're doing, though, is there's still one component. They broke the bill up into 5 and 6 components. 5 of them were approved. The 6th one is the Department of Homeland Security and the funding for that. Now, it's kind of strange to me, though, about how that funding was broken up. But let me show you something with Google. What I had reported before, so much of the DHS funding was in the one big beautiful bill, or I call it the big bloated bill, right? And there was tremendous amounts of money put into that bill for all of immigration and customs enforcement, for more DHS components. But what they're saying is that certain operational and policy stuff is still done in this. So so how is there a government shutdown if Congress is arguing over funding? And the reason I use Gemini is it pulls better data from more current sources. The government shutdown, current arguments, Congress are happening because of the difference between building new things and operating the agency day to day. So all of the money that had been allocated in the big beautiful bill, that was for growth and everything else, but not the day-to-day running of things. And that's what was currently being argued about. I'm not really too concerned about how that'll work over the next couple of weeks, because even if they don't agree on something, that's the only component that will shut down. Everything else has been funded again through September. So we're pretty good on that. I'm going to show you all ocean views while I do that. Ron said, "Hey, Gomer, another ADP miss. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Maybe late Jerome will be watching." You, Siegel, you sound like Warsh is projecting 2025 after revisions will show no job creation. They're not worried about that, though. they're not. I don't think that's actually the relevant comment here, bro. They're not worried about it because they know that the labor market is it's not crashing, it's not drop. There's a difference with no job creation versus huge job losses, and we don't see huge job losses, and that's why we're not in a position that you're going to see rates go ahead and change tremendously with this. So hold on, let me flip back to the MacBook camera. Here I am. So anyway, I don't think we have to worry about that. But let's go ahead. We're 10 minutes in. Let's just kind of wrap this thing up. So quick recap on what happened yesterday. Rates were pretty much the same as where they were the day before. Didn't see much of a difference as far as what you got this morning. We're down. What was it? About 9 basis points to start the day. Going to see rate sheets slightly worse than yesterday, maybe about the same because rates improved a little before they dropped back down. So really no difference. 10-year Treasury yield, though, that's one to pay attention to. That 10-year Treasury yield. Let me go ahead and share the screen, and I'll show this all to you as well. Hold on, share the screen. Boom. Okay, taking a look here, that 10-year Treasury yield, again, it is pushing up to 4.30. It stays below it, though. So it's important that we see on the chart over here that we see these candlesticks stay below that 4.30. If we cross 430, it's going to open the door for even more, and we will see rates continue to creep up. Over here, when we look at mortgage-backed securities, when we're over on this side, this red line is the 50-day moving average. The green line is the 100-day moving average. So we do have technical support to see them hold steady and probably improve a bit from there. Not a lot that we have to really, they're not likely to go too much lower here. They're going to get some support. So keep that in mind. It's not a huge thing that we have to be concerned about with that. But keeping an eye on that stuff. An interesting article I wanted to share with y'all. Home builders turn to the White House for help on the inventory glut. Gotta love how on one hand we talk about how there's not enough inventory, and on the other one now there's an inventory glut. This one is really about builders being able to lower their prices and get more houses out there. Is what kind of where you see big builders such as Lennar and Taylor Morrison have met in recent months with Housing Finance Chief Bill Pulte, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and others in the administration about a variety of housing proposals. We are among the many builders working with the administration coming up with ideas that can enhance affordability. So they're looking for ways to lower their costs and sell more homes is really what they are. Because in one hand they talk about not enough houses, and the other one, they're saying unload the biggest glut of housing inventory in 15 years. Well, it's kind of funny. The reason they can't unload some of the inventory is because it's so overpriced. So, and a lot of that they're saying is due to regulation and expenses, and they're looking for ways to help lower that as well. So kind of an interesting article on that. Otherwise, nothing else has changed, y'all. It's same old. And, where we go from here is just a lot of the same things. Ron says the funding bills are normal course of business. There are 12 funding bills under normal course. We just seem to be skipping the CR process that we shouldn't be doing anyway. Yeah, well, Mr. Tickle, Mexico was great on two fronts. It was beautiful as a place to be, hanging out in the pool and enjoying company, but also I'm here for my founders board meeting, which is my mastermind. That helps for us to bring ideas to grow, all of our different products, Originator Success, Grab and Go Social, Rate Sensei, as well as to improve those products for y'all. You've noticed that I've gotten more into AI in the last 6 months, and a lot of that is because of what I learned here. What they do with AI, some of these, the people who run the event is incredible. So it's starting to move that. It's starting to move to that point. Not in a way that originators will actively see, but for running businesses on the back end, lenders are definitely going to be incorporating it. So. Randy said, why do I never feel sorry for builders? Who would, right? Who would, especially with the manipulation tactics they use on all that. So anyway, all right, my friends. Well, tomorrow I will come back to you from my desk, and I will see you there. Siegel says, no job creation equals more problems in the economy. Stable employment in the economy requires about 500 to 1 million job creation per year. Arguably true. I would agree with that. Problem is that innovation where it's not necessarily going to happen. AI is it is a game changer. I love that term because that's what AI uses. No, it's definitely a disruptor, and that's what's happening. It's a lot of jobs are being more efficient. They're not being replaced. It just doesn't take as many people to do things, and that's going to be a big part of it. So, all right. Well, anyway, thank you all, my friends, for joining me. Here's one last look. Let me flop that back over. One last look. Let's all say goodbye to Mexico, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.